It's Laura at Hyperstamper. Hello everyone, and I want to show you this new, I call these double journals. Um, it's a classic book, The Adventures of Old Man Coyote by Thornton W. Burgess, who is a very famous, legendary author, and the illustrations in the book are wonderful. And it was a very small book, so I decided to do my double journal design. It's quite unique. I mount the book on top of another vintage book. So I'll show you here. Look at the illustration on here with Old Man Coyote, a wonderful coyote, sweet coyote character. We've got the mushrooms, we've got the bunny character here. It's just lovely. And then I made this bangle here out of matching ribbons and some vintage beads. And so I've got the single signature journal here, the original first pages, and an original plate from the book. There was only 4 plates, and 2 of them are in this junk journal. The original first page from 1916. And then I just put in a bunch of antique and vintage pages in here. I've got a vintage playing card and this little ephemera pocket, some vintage upholstery fabric with an antique journaling page there, some children's illustrations here from the 1930s Mother Goose book, and just an old book from a history book, an antique music sheet, a vintage bird book image here, some Canadian birch bark up there, and then I put the last page of the book here, the end page. So that's the first journal, and that ties up with the pretty ribbon here that matches the colors on both the smaller book and the larger book. Oops, sorry. It's a big book. Everything in here is also authentic, antique, and vintage ephemera, except for the tea-dyed pages that I tea-dye and hand stamp. So here's a little booklet here that came out of a poetry book, and these are lovely little poems. So this is a full signature in that book, and I just did some hand stamping here on some antique paper. It's a 1930s Monopoly property card, Mediterranean Avenue. And here's a little get well card. Back in the day, this is from the 1940s, early 1940s, and you can journal inside here, but they're just so sweet. Isn't that lovely? I love it. So I tucked that into this pocket here, just have some vintage lace, or trim, sorry, not lace, trim down there. A 1935 ledger page. And then this is really cool here. I've got just a page from the original book there, Adventures of Old Man Coyote. You can journal on the back there. And then this here is from Germany, and that is a bank statement of interest for the interest, and it is from 1928, and April 1919, and it expires between 29 and 38. It's really cool. I did a little bit of research on those. I think they're fabulous, and that's an original piece. And then this is also an original piece. You can see as I'm tipping it in the light, it says paid on there, and all the different stamps from the bank. And this is from 1939, Bank of Nova Scotia, which nowadays is called Scotiabank. And some really cool ephemera here with an antique signature bit in there. And this is from a vintage how to watercolor book. Very nice sturdy page there with the advertisements of other how to paint books on both sides. A vintage song page here, and the rest of that 1935 ledger from the post office. And on a paper clip here, I've made this pocket out of a sewing book page. You can journal here on that antique page. Then there's a pocket here, and this is from an inn back in the 1930s that this family visited. And then over here is just a little envelope, journaling spot. Isn't that fun? So lots of secret little tuck spots there you can use. You can pull that out and tuck it in anywhere. Another little booklet here for you with some vintage wallpaper on there. Isn't that pretty? And some vintage crochet. And a nice big piece of crochet doily here. So you can take that out, cut it up, but you can just pull it right out without damaging the book, or you can just leave it, glue it down, make some pockets out of it here and here. Lots of fun things you could do with that, but I'm leaving that up to your imagination. A postage stamp collector's page here from the 50s, and this wonderful 1930s children's book. It's that lovely fuzzy cardstock with a beautiful set of poems, one on traveling, one little girl singing with the birds. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. Another antique page here, and just another journaling spot here with some vintage and antique bits. A vintage cookbook page, full color with soups, and that is that 1955 Polish embroidery book with the gorgeous photography. There's that vegetables and soups page again. And this is the flip side of that children's book page, which I love. And we're going to go over to the next signature. There are 4 signatures in my book. There's over 80 pages. That's front and back being 2 pages. Yeah, so lots and lots of room here. This is American Highways Road Map from 1955. A vintage bird watcher's logbook here. And then another children's book page here. I believe this one's from the late 60s. Really fun. And another children's things to make book, which is kind of fun. Lots of fun things in there. And another great, oh, look at the hair. It's so great. Yep. More flippy sides there. This is 1954 Theatre World magazine. And this is from a 1949 needlework magazine. So beautiful advertisements here of embroidery patterns and quilting, just all kinds of fun. A 1938 Paris, France almanac page. And this one is from September 25 and 24. Really, really cool. You can throw that into Google Translate if you want to see what it says. And this is another plate from the original book on the front cover. Isn't it lovely? And I didn't adhere it because some people may even want to frame that. It's quite lovely. So that goes right in there. I'll just tuck that back in there for now. And this is a really fun postcard. Hope to see you soon in West Lorne. Pack your grip and come. And this is from 1915. Isn't that cool? I just love it. And then back here is a page I got from an antique encyclopedia. All the different chairs. Sorry, not antique. This one's vintage. It was from the 50s. Yeah, all the different chairs from the 15th century right up to modern day, 1950. Isn't that fun? I love it. Another wonderful little children's book page from Things to Do and How Things Work. Look at this wonderful animal page. And another wonderful children's storybook page here. And just a little card here that I put a vintage stamp on. Her Majesty the Queen. 1950s bingo card. You can journal on the back there. Just keep that for fun. And that brings us to the end of this double journal. Isn't that great? So I'm putting it up on Etsy now. Hyperstamper.etsy.com. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.